Hey, my name is Tracy Nelson, and I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation, first for the Jew and then for the Gentile. And that's Romans chapter 1. I am, like I said, I'm a Bible-believing Christian, born again by the Spirit of God. And welcome to my channel. It's called Creation Adventures and Outdoor Education. And if you see my shirt, I had these shirts made up. It has Creation Adventures, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That's Genesis 1:1. The rest of Scripture is built on that. And then the only other verse in the Bible that begins with "in the beginning" is John 1:1. And it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God." Talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm just giving you a heads up. If you continue on my channel, I'm going to provide all kind of instructional videos and educational videos. But you're going to hear the name Jesus, the Lord Jesus. You're going to hear me talk about the living God, the Father. Whenever you're ready, Matt.
Ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, so what Matt's going to do now, he's going to shoot these 6 small white metal targets on the left. He's going to transition to the black metal target, and then he's going to move to those 6 white targets on the ground also. He's got a mag change in the process. All right, Matt, whenever you're ready. Awesome. Hey, Tracy Nelson here again with Creation Adventures and Outdoor Education. And today I'm here with a friend of mine named Matt Simms, and Matt is a competition shooter for Nighthawk, and we're just going to have some fun. And I've asked Matt, because I told you I'm not an expert on anything, but I do know some experts, and Matt's one of them. Okay, we both are retired law enforcement officers. We actually worked together and actually worked some cases together over the years. Matt worked with the drug task force for a long time, and then he was an investigator. And I was a patrol deputy, and when I was with Game and Fish also, Matt and I worked some cases on some guys that had gotten loose in the woods. So I've asked Matt, since he does this, he shoots, he's got his own range here, and I've asked him to just kind of walk through how he would take somebody who's just starting to shoot and maybe take them through some drills, and how he would do a class, because not only does he teach individuals and trains individuals with handguns, he also does church security teams. He has them come here and help the guys figure out different things with their firearms and what's going to work and what's not going to work. But I'm gonna turn it over to Matt and let him tell you a little bit about himself and go from there.
Thanks, Tracy. Around here, you know, with anything, if this is in view and in focus, anytime we start with firearms, I believe we can see all of that. Anytime we start with firearms, we always want to start with safety. Does that look okay?
Yeah, it looks good.
So, you know, I tell people we're very blessed, even though our society is becoming much more violent. And even though you absolutely have the right of self-defense, and you should exercise that right of self-defense, and I personally believe as a Christian, Tracy and I have had this conversation, as a man, you should lead your family and you should protect your family. And so you absolutely have that right. But we're very blessed to live in a country that most of us live in a good area. Tracy and I are blessed to live in North Alabama and in low crime areas for the most part. And so I tell people, you know, we carry that firearm, we wear that firearm for personal self-defense and if we need it. But if we have an accident with that firearm that hurts someone unintentionally, it kind of negates a lot of that. So our first and foremost rule is that we have to exercise safety. The first 4 of these rules right here were codified by Colonel Jeff Cooper, who's considered the father of modern pistol craft. This is a paraphrase of what Colonel Cooper wrote. He wrote, number 1, all guns are always loaded. Of course, we know that all guns are not always loaded, and we pick them up and we check them and do that. We would never clean one if it was loaded. His theology in this number 1 rule was that we are to consider and treat all guns as if they're loaded. Number 2, never cover anything, never point the muzzle at anything that you would not shoot, okay? Or not willing to shoot. Now, some people dry fire inside their house, and it was like, well, would you want to shoot your light switch? No, but it would not be the end of the world if I did. So that you would not shoot, or basically another person. Number 3 is a golden rule. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target and you're ready to shoot, or at least until you have made up your mind that you are ready to shoot. That's the golden rule, and that right there would probably negate 99% of all firearms accidents. The last one is ID your target. Be aware of your target. Make sure you know what your target is and know what's behind it. And that's particularly important as we talk about concealed carry and church security. The first and foremost thing that I tell church security classes is the most important thing that I will teach you is not when to shoot, it's when not to shoot. Because it doesn't really matter if you take out a bad guy that's there to harm the sheep. If you take out one of the sheep when you do the same thing, that ruins the entire thing. So we like to summarize these, and a guy that I used to teach with summarized these, and we still use these today when we teach A-post classes, Alabama Peace Officer Standard and Training classes. Know where your gun is pointed and intend for it to be there. So make that a perfect intention. And know where your trigger finger is and intend for it to be there. And so by that, what I mean is most people do it unintentionally. And so we're seeking awareness is what we're seeking to do when we do that. Now, if we were on the range and this was downrange and I was standing here shooting this way, most people are not going to intentionally turn around and point the gun. But what they wind up doing is they wind up doing things inadvertently, like, what did you say? And they look behind them or something, and that would have actually muzzled Tracy right now, who's standing behind there. So muzzle awareness is what we're after, and finger discipline, which is rule number 3. So that starts us out with the 3 or 4 rules of gun safety.
Good now.
We've got a good safe direction this way right here, and I think that we're standing in a bay that's almost about a 270-degree berm. So let's just go over loading the gun, okay? So let's show them how you would actually load, and we're going to be using a semi-automatic since those are the most popular guns that are available today. So let's go ahead and bring your gun out right here.
So I'm doing a Glock 19 today.
Okay, let's take the magazine out of it.
All right, so remember I did the video. Go back and look at the video on the 19. I hit the slide release and
the magazine release, yeah.
Magazine release, and then I've locked the slide back.
Okay, and you may want to just flip that over and show them where the magazine release is located right here and the slide catch. So what he's done is he's pushed the slide catch up. And one of the ways that does that, make sure you point it in a safe direction. One of the easy ways to do that with small hands is you want to push up here. So I'm grasping over the slide. I'm just pushing my hands together. Make sure that you're pointed in a safe direction when you do that. Many times people are standing on the range and all I did is push up. Now obviously there's other ways to do it. You can do it with your thumb straight up and down. But people that have trouble working the slide, that is the easiest and most effective way to do it. But once he's got the slide locked to the rear, he can see that the magazine is out, the magazine well is clear, and he can check the chamber. And if he were unloading this weapon, he would actually rack that slide about 3 times really good and hard. not babying the gun. He's going to lock the slide to the rear, then he's going to visually check it. Then he would look away, look at something else, and then come back and give it a double check. But that's how we would unload the weapon. Now if we were going to load the weapon, he's going to hold the gun up in a high ready position, and you can let the slide down. So he grabs the magazine, and there's a special way that he grabs that magazine. Notice, can they see your hand? Notice that his hand is coming up the tip of the point of the bullet, okay? So there's a reason for that. If I asked Tracy to close his eyes, lean his head back like he was taking a DUI test, and I let him hold this magazine this way and extend it way out here, and I say, okay, now touch the tip of that bullet to your nose, he's going to have to put his finger up on the tip of the bullet. Did you see him move it? Once he does that, now he knows where it's at. So we do that, and that also lets us have hand-find hand. So now he'll bring the gun up high into his presentation. This way he can still see across. He can see any threat that's coming. He can take a quick glance down here. His eyes are not going to be off the target very long. It's simply a down and back up, and the magazine goes back in. He's seating it firmly with the heel of his hand. He is not cupping the magazine. If you use the hollow of your hand, sometimes the magazine will seem like it's seated, like right there, but it won't actually be seated. And you can actually show them that.
Turn it.
Okay, turn that way. So if he does this, and he uses the heel of his hand, you actually feel it click. Now if he's doing an administrative load, the next thing he's going to do is grab it and tug on it to make sure that it's seated. Obviously if the magazine comes out, it's not seated, okay? And the reason that we use the heel of our hand, may I?
Sure.
The reason we use the heel of our hand is that there is a possibility that if we use the hollow of our hand right here, it looks like we seated that magazine, correct? But I don't get a bang because the mag's not seated, which is the secondary reason, or second reason. So we use the heel of our hand pushing on the magazine, it locks in, we tug on it to make sure that it will not come back out, okay? And so now he's ready to slackle the slide to put a round in the chamber, okay? And you can see his earlier videos. I think he gave you several different ways of doing that. Hand over, the pinch technique, or with some guns that have cocking serrations on the front, even front cocking serrations. So we're here, front cocking serrations. So with this one, magazine in, tug, I can grab the front cocking serrations, run the slide really good and hard, and then the weapon is loaded. With Tracy, he'll either use, since he has no front cocking serrations, he'll probably use the hand over, which is probably preferred by 80 or 90% of the people that run semi-automatic weapons, I would say, correct?
Yeah. I think it's the best. It's the best for me.
So, and now the main thing that we're going to show right here is watch how violently he does this. He's actually, his right hand is going to be like he's making a punch. His left hand is actually like he's trying to pull the slide off the gun to the rear, and he's going to allow it to come out of his hand and let the full pressure of the recoil spring strip the round off the top of the magazine and fully seat it into the chamber of the gun. Okay?
Okay.
Notice how he actually pulled that out of his left hand. Now, one of the nice features of a Glock, if you want to roll that over and show them, is that this protrusion of the extractor right here is a really nice tactile loaded chamber indicator. So one of the ways that we teach is simply run your thumb across it and you can feel it protruding and you know the chamber is loaded. Okay?
So I'm loaded.
Very good.
Get my holster.
Always be sure to holster slowly, carefully, deliberately, and if you've ever used your gun in self-defense, I would even say reluctantly. Because we want to make sure that the threat is fully neutralized, that it's no longer a threat, and that there are no secondary threats that are coming to us. Okay?
What they tell us in law enforcement, you want to be quick quick at getting it out, but be slow putting it back up if you have to
Exactly.
use it.
And the other thing too, we noticed that we're using the appendix position right here. And so one of the ways that you will see that I will actually holster is actually kind of bend my legs just a little bit. I'll keep my hand out of the way, evacuate the grip safety, roll my thumb over the hammer, ensure that my thumb safety is on, and then I will slide it in there, and if I feel any resistance, I stop. Same thing if I'm carrying on 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock position of the holster. I'm going to move back just a little bit. So if I were shooting this way right here and I'm going to reholster, you'll actually see me pull my feet together and I'll reholster so that the gun is not pointed down the back of my leg. Does that make good sense?
Good deal.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do some